8:04, Wednesday, July 10. Great to have you listening to Brekkie with Vossy and Brandy. You've got the ring in. Matt Russell here for a couple more days before Vossy returns in all his glory on Monday morning. We're here thanks to Bryden's Lawyers, unable to work due to injury or illness. Contact Bryden's Lawyers. A busy day already, Brandy. I hear you chuckling as the Edgewater Homes text line continues to bubble away. But this morning, world number 8, FIFA world number 8, Spain beats world number 2, France, 2-1 in a Euro semi-final.
And who better to talk about it than our man Bozza? Gloves off with Matty White, but Bozza's been he's happy enough to join us too. Bozos on this program. Boz, good morning.
Good morning, Brandy. Good morning, Matty. How are you both?
We're good. So Spain will now take on the winner of the Netherlands and England. France scoring the first goal. Charlie Goodsir just informed me that the boy he is a boy. The boy that scored the first goal for Spain, Yamin Yamal, is 16 years old.
Exactly right. He turned 17 2 days before the final, so he'll turn 17 basically on Saturday.
What about that?
When he made his debut in this competition, not his debut for Spain, against Croatia in the opening game, he became the youngest player in history to participate in the European Championships. So it was a fantastic achievement, and the goal he scored this morning, you have to get a look at it, both of you, or anyone who's listening, please go and look at it. It's arguably the goal of the tournament and completely changed the game. For France, for me, before that, they were good value for their lead, but as soon as he scored, and Danny almost scored his third goal, that puts him equal top scorer of the tournament as well. And to be fair to Spain, it must be said, they had 3 players out, Brandy. They had Danny Carvajal, who got sent off against Germany in the dying minutes. They had Lenormand, their central back, and Pedri, a really good attacking midfielder. And they just keep going on and on and on. And they've won, for the first time in European Championship history, 6 straight games, so 3 group games, plus the round of 16 quarterfinal and this morning. And they're going to be hot favourites, whoever wins tomorrow morning between Netherlands and England for the finals. They've been phenomenal. And most importantly as well, especially for the neutral, the football that they play, and they have played for quite some time now. You have to say, whether it be club level, they've won, 9 out of the last 16 Champions Leagues. They won this competition in 2008 and 2012, plus the World Cup in 2010. So since 2008, they have really been the dominant nation, and you have to hand it to them.
Yeah, well, this morning, France scored their first goal of the tournament, you said, Brandy, from general play. So it's been from the penalty spot for France before this morning. But Spain then, under pressure, 1-0 down, go crash bang, goals in the 21st and 25th minute. So it was some response from the Spaniards, wasn't it, Boz?
Yeah, it was. Like I said to you, Lamine Yamal's goal was excellent. Danny Olmo's the second goal. I don't know if the player Koundé, I don't know if he touches it. I don't know if it still goes in. And they were the better team overall in the first half. But you've got to hand it to France. Second half, they pushed very, very hard. But the other thing you've got to say, as lovely as Spain are to watch, defensively, they really dug in. And there was a lot of players there whose natural instinct is to attack. And this is a great lesson for all sports. Their natural instinct is to attack, but they did what they had to do to make sure that they won. They got behind the ball. They did what we would say in our game, and I'm sure other games, I don't know, Brandy, if that's the same term. They did what you would sort of count as the ugly things, the things that you wouldn't associate with sort of really flair and attacking plays, but they did it for the team. And their manager, De La Fuente, he's worked with a lot of these boys in the youth teams and so forth, and he's obviously instilled a really good esprit de corps. You could see it right towards the end. They were all off the bench. They all run on when they scored, and that's so important to have the squad all together in these big tournaments. But France, like I said, they pushed very hard, and Mbappe had a wonderful chance about 5 minutes before the end. One that you just think to yourself, you're just waiting for the sort of the net to bulge at the back once he hits it, but he's skied it over the bar.
Yep. Saw that one.
France, look, listen, they'll be. There's a lot of French supporters I know that are disappointed the way they played. But you've got to bear in mind as well, at the end of a long season when players have played 55 to 60 games, sometimes it's not so much up to the national manager or representative manager, whatever you want to call it. He hasn't got a lot of time with the players to get them playing in an exceptional way if they haven't done that. It's up to him to get the best out of the players that he's got at hand. And this is what I keep saying about England as well. No, they haven't played well, but you don't know behind the scenes how fit those players are after such a long season. And sometimes, especially when you're one of the big nations you have to win pretty much. You have to just basically say, right, I've got to be realistic here. I'm going to play in a way that's going to suit the players and their fitness levels at this stage. We
don't hear about the pressure levels from other coaches, from other managers, from Spain or France. But we hear about Gareth Southgate. Is there a bloke under more pressure in the world of soccer? All the time.
If he is, and I must say, I've got a little bit of disclaimer here. I'm very biased because I still keep in contact with him. He was my ex-teammate for 4 years at Aston Villa. I was very, very close to him. So I am very biased. But if he is under pressure, I think if anyone in the future, when you have coaching courses, whether it be in any sport, will have an example of somebody under pressure and how they handle themselves in a press conference, he would be an ideal example because he has been put under severe pressure. And he's had such success since he's come on, which was really a sinking ship after 2016 when they got knocked out by Iceland. Since then he's gone semi-final 2018, final Euro 2020 as they call it, but obviously it was in 2021 because of the COVID. Quarter-final, only went out from a missed penalty from Harry Kane in the World Cup in 2022, and now semi-finals again. He's the first English manager ever to take their team to consecutive semi-finals in this competition. But I just think, and you can look at everything really, and we have experience here. I've seen it here since I've been here when, say, our political party's been in power for so long. Sometimes, no matter how well you're doing, people just want a little bit of a change, and I think he's suffering a little bit from that. The other thing I think he's suffering from is that the expectation level, because of how well he's done, has gone through the roof. But not only the expectation level to win, which they have done, the expectation level to play a really attractive brand of football. That comes back to my original point, what I was making about France and Didier Deschamps. Didier Deschamps has won a World Cup during his time. He came in 2016, he got to the final. 2018, he won the World Cup. They got to the World Cup final in 2022. But, a lot of people in France are the same. He had to answer questions the other day about not the fact that they beat Portugal on penalties, but the way that they played. And he sort of, he lost it a bit. He actually turned around and said, if you don't like it, change the channel. So, like I said, it is. The pressures when you've got, it's a different type of pressure, and you know that, Brandy, when you're in a winning team, as opposed to a team who's got nothing to lose. And people say, they're playing wonderful and attractive football. But that's the way. A lot of that is to do with Pep Guardiola and his original Barcelona team all the way back, I said, in 2008. Because he set the standard so much in terms of not only winning football, but attractive football, everyone's expected to do that now. So I don't mind the game going that way, but I also don't mind the fact that there are a little bit of differences. There are managers and teams that like to play a different way. The variety is the spice of life. But like I said, for me, the expectation level of England supporters is through the roof, understandably so, but they've also got to bear in mind, like I said, what he's done for the English national team since he took over after that debacle in 2016.
Yeah, it seems unless Gareth Southgate's team is winning 5-0 every game, he's just copping it mercilessly.
Yeah.
But when it comes to their quarter-final win, Boz, they were perfect on the penalty spot, 5 from 5. Afterwards, there was a storyline that some, perhaps senior members of the England team, didn't want to take penalties late in the game. Did you read anything into that? Bearing in mind, here's a team that hasn't...
it's happened before. It's happened before. It's happened before, and I know I won't name players and all, and you just know because. I've been in extra time situations and stroke penalties where players I've seen that are actually physically crying because of the emotion of the situation. So when you're a manager and you see that, you don't really, you got to think to yourself, I want people who first and foremost want to take the penalty. It might get to the stage because it goes to sudden death that everyone has to. But you don't want people who don't want to take a penalty having to take a penalty. You really don't. It's quite simple. It's pretty much similar to somebody in the dressing room who says, "I don't want to be here anymore." The better you get him out and do a deal for him and your club, the better, because you don't want unhappy people. Same with the penalties. If somebody doesn't want to take them, unless they have to, unless it goes sudden death all the way and everyone has to, it's better just to turn around and to try somebody else, because it is a high pressure situation, especially when it's your country and your whole country's, I've seen it with Gareth when he missed a penalty in 1996, and it takes its toll. It really does take its toll, and sometimes you don't get the chance to redeem yourself as well.
So if England haven't won a major tournament since 1966, never won Euro, went out in the last Euro by losing the finals the final to
On
Italy on
penalty.
penalties. If it goes to penalties tomorrow, can you imagine the pressure, Brandy, on the Englishmen as they step up to the spot? I can't.
Unbelievable.
I can't.
No.
I'd have an air swing.
So who goes through in tomorrow's game, Boz? Netherlands or England?
I'm going for England.
Yeah.
I'm going for England. I tipped them at the start of the tournament, but I'm going for England. A little bit of bias coming in there, no doubt. And Netherlands have been really good value. Not a lot of people have talked about them. And you know, Brandy, sometimes when you go to a certain ground or a certain place, you know you've played well there before. Mm-hmm. That makes a big difference, you know, in your mindset.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, the last time the Euros were in Germany in 1988, the Dutch won. And that's their only major tournament win ever in history. And the manager of that team was a player. The manager of tomorrow, Ronald Koeman, was a player for that Dutch side in 1988. And they went behind to Turkey, who was excellent during the tournament. They come back and won. They drew 0-0 with France. So they've come through quite, you know, relatively unscathed in a group where they also had Austria as well, which a lot of people thought they've got to be careful. In the end, they finished third, so they come through this side of the draw, which inevitably this side of the draw has been a little bit easier than the other side of the draw with Spain and Germany and so forth. So they're not to be underestimated. They've got the tournament's equal top scorer in Corey Gakpo, who of course plays for Liverpool as well. They dispatched Romania quite convincingly in the round of 16, but that game against Turkey, I mean, they were 1-0 down at half-time. It wasn't happening. And they brought on a chap who briefly played for Manchester United called Weghorst. A lot of football supporters will know. Big, tall, nothing spectacular with his feet and all that, but a very awkward customer. He changed the game. So they've shown that they're willing to go a different way if things aren't happening for them. And like I said, in terms of their history, in terms of, you know, games played against, you know, England overall, they've actually won more against England in the games played against each other. So it will not be easy at all. And as I said, it wouldn't surprise me if it does go all the way to the penalty kicks.
So historical things in the Dutch favour. Wow, 16 years. Just thinking, my 16-year-old boy doing something like that. Wow, how proud is his parents? They must be incredibly proud. Who does he play club football, Bozza, Yamal, the 16-year-old?
Lamine Yamal for Barcelona. We've had the privilege on Stan and Stan Stroke Channel 9 this season to watch him very, very closely. He's been in a team, Barcelona, who won the title not this season but last season, and he was in the Champions League. And they were unfortunate to go out, to be fair, to Paris Saint-Germain this season. So he's got it all ahead of him. There's no doubt about that. But I think the most important thing for him now, and I'm sure that they will do that, is to make sure that they don't, not in this tournament. I'm talking long term. I'm sure Barcelona will make sure that they don't overuse him. So we don't say in 5 or 6 years' time, you remember that boy Lamine Yamal? What happened to him? That is the most important thing for him, because, as you know, Brandy, in terms of professional sport, and I tell this to people a lot, your rest is so important. A lot of people have that saying that you don't get paid to play full time, you get paid to rest. And that's going to be very important, especially with now as the amount of games get even more and more with more competitions, and people are going to expect that type of standard every time they see him.
Yep.
How good does that sound for a 16-year-old, Brandy?
I can't believe it.
Neither can I.
No.
Bozza, when it comes to Copa America, attention focuses on New York today, Charlotte tomorrow. So today, the world number ones, Argentina against Canada. Tomorrow, Uruguay, Colombia. How do you see the semi-final shaping up here?
Well, Argentina have already played Canada in their group stage and they dispatched them 2-0, so I can see them doing it again. But Canada are a very, very good side, very underrated side. They've got a player for Bayern Munich called Alphonse Davies, who's on the verge, a lot of people are saying, are going to Real Madrid as well. So they're a very, very good team. They remind me a lot of the Socceroos circa like 2006. A lot of good players playing around in places, in a lot of places in Europe that a lot of people will say, oh, will wear whatever, but still playing at a very, very good level. Uruguay will be on an absolute high after their penalty shootout victory against Brazil. There's no doubt about that. So I'm expecting them to go through against Colombia. So that will make Argentina-Uruguay final. So, and I think Argentina will have too much for them in the final.
Well, Boz, by the time you're on Thursdays with Matty White tomorrow, we will have the finals locked
Decided.
away for the Euros
we'll
and
know.
Copa America.
We'll know. We will know. One way or the other, we will know.
We look forward to that tomorrow. Thanks so much for sparing us some time today. It's
Anytime.
a great story. Great story.
Keep up the good work. I'll be listening. Keep up the good work.
On
Good
your
on you,
Boz.
Bozza.